Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
All right, we are back, and it's time for another Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. The season has officially started now that Daytona is behind us, and we may have a clearer picture of what's to come. We'll talk about all that tonight, along with our segments such as the X-Brand Forum check-in and Barnett Clutch's Clutch Performance of the Week. We also have three great guests, which include Phoenix Racing Honda's Kyle Peters, Mad Parts, Kawasaki's Freddie Noren, and from Racetech, our buddy Checkerz is going to drop in. We're going to talk some amateurs and some Supercross futures and some arena cross and all kinds of good stuff. Before we get into that, as usual, running the cameras, probably messing up the sound. If it goes wrong, it's Scotty's fault. If it goes right, it's because I fixed it today. But yeah, Scotty Thompson, what's up, man? Back in studio?
That's news to me, but okay, I will roll with it.
What's news to you?
That is my fault.
I mean, you're in charge of the YouTube and the cameras and OBS.
Very true. Glad to be here, by the way. Thanks for
thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for letting me join.
Thanks for making it on time.
Is he whining already?
Probably. You hear that voice? He was late today, so he'll be penalized. TJ Smith in studio, playing his phone loud. We talked about silencing your phones, and apparently this is your first podcast ever. TJ Smith.
What's up?
What's up?
just trying to make it. Man.
Yeah, and
just trying to make it.
Back in studio for a second week, Jeremy Huddleston. What's up, dude?
Not much. How's it going?
We didn't ask you back. You just showed up.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
That's what happens when I give out my address.
I mean, I keep going the way I'm going. I'm going to need a replacement. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I don't even know. I felt like there was a joke there, but I didn't come up with anything. We're going to get right into the Racetech Open discussion. And Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company. They have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. For nearly 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. From modern to vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. Hit up racetech.com, find your local service center wherever you are in the country. There's probably one close to you. Get to know your local tech, your suspension, your Racetech rep. He's probably at your local tracks. Get him to change your fluids. Get him to revalve it if you need to. Get those general maintenance things done that need to be done regularly. Racetech's there to help you out. Appreciate Racetech being on board. Can't wait to talk to Checkerz in a little bit. I guess we should start off with some Daytona talk. I said last week that Eli would dominate. Apparently, I was not correct.
Same.
We're not correct.
I was not correct. It didn't go how I expected, TJ. I really expected Eli to show the boys what's up like he usually does. He was good. Not as good as Jet.
I don't think you put enough.
Retract.
I don't think you put enough weight into what Jet did this last summer to feed over into Daytona. Because he's obviously getting better and better every weekend at Supercross, and then plus the outdoor domination. I know Eli wasn't there, but I'm just saying, like I knew it was going to happen that way.
Yeah, I think I also said last week, Jet's not quite as good as everybody's talking about. I mean, he's good. He's making mistakes. I might be wrong. I'll say that. Yeah, maybe this is for me this week.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Scott, it could be a little bit about the fact that I just don't want him to be that good and that dominant. I don't want to see another McGrath era where the same guy wins every week and you just go, all right, he's going to win unless something really crazy happens. I just don't want that. So maybe I was talking with my heart a little bit more, but Jet was really good. I mean, Sexton and Eli were good, but Jet was amazing.
Yeah, it was with the conditions that there were. It was impressive that the fact that him and Chase were both doing that quad was mind blowing. And then like I saw a picture from Instagram today that was like someone's kid after they stormed the track, and he was like literally up to like his stomach.
I can't believe you saw that.
Yeah, I actually saw something for once. Anyways, back to my
and this is the day when
analyzation.
Instagram and Facebook was down, and Scotty still saw something updated.
Yeah, it's a first time for everything. But anyways, I still don't think that we've seen the best Chase and best Eli.
I agree.
So, like, the question I was thinking of on the way here was 2 or 3 years ago. Like, Chase was there too. Yeah, Chase 2 or 3 years ago. Chase was there. Eli was there. Roxon was really good. And Webb's been on the podium, the Daytona forever. Does that go that way, even the track conditions and everything, if those guys are at that caliber that they were a few years ago?
I think so. I don't think.
You really?
I don't know that their caliber's that far off where it was last year or the year before. I think Jed.
It doesn't take much.
No, but I really think Jed has stepped it up. Like, I think he's the next level.
Generational.
Yeah. Jeremy?
I don't know. I think we just saw Tomac being Tomac. We didn't see the beast mode that we're used to seeing, and you gotta give credit where credit's due. Jet, he rode the race, and he, like he said on the podium, he was there for business, and he definitely showed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I'll give Tomac credit because if it had been me and I found out, even if I didn't know my bike was smoking, and then I found out my bike was smoking, but oh yeah, the bike was giving out on me, but he straight up said that wasn't a factor, and that the rhythm section cost him, and so props to him for being honest with that.
It did seem a little bit, TJ, like there's a little bit of the Eli that we've come to know over the last couple of years, where he's like, hey man, if I'm not feeling something or whatever, I'm not going to just go big for the sake of going big. He's going to be smarter. He's playing the long game. And yeah, that quad in was a little much, which he did do it at times. I think he might have even started doing it a few at the end, but he wasn't willing to go to that next level. And maybe in the end, like, it's possible that something could bite Jet, right? And we could lose Jet, or we could lose riders like we do every year. And maybe Eli does win the championship.
If you look at Eli's last ride, where everybody was like, Eli's back and all this kind of stuff, it wasn't like he was like on the ragged edge, pushing hard. He was just comfortable. I think he's always been that way. I don't think anything's changed. If he's comfortable, he goes ridiculously fast. I think in the past he was just more comfortable for whatever reason than he is now. As far whether it's you get older and your reaction time slows down, or he's just not as comfortable with the bike. I'm not saying that there's a big issue.
No, I don't think there is.
At the level where they are, a smidgen of issue is a big difference.
Of course, yeah.
And Jet's on his way to setting some records.
What's the chance of you guys thinking that Tomac was kind of waiting for that last couple laps for like lappers start playing a factor? Because they were pretty spread out over the weekend. Like, they were running in the 130s, close to 140 lap time. So with the track being open up so much, maybe if he was thinking that way, maybe it kind of bit him. Just
I mean, it's possible. I don't think so. I just don't think he had it. I don't think he had what Jet had. And I think another thing that's really very impressive with Jet, young kid, rookie in the 450 class, still finding his way a little bit. All the stuff going on at the gate with the tire cover, setting the whole shot device, and like there was not any. Oh, he didn't have to regroup at all, Scotty. He was mentally right there.
Yeah, he
put it out.
He shifted into second, looked back, and saw that they were still doing it, and then saw that it was clear and looked down and like dumped the clutch and like still got like a top 5 start. That was crazy.
Like, Jeremy, I feel like that's incredibly impressive at his age to mentally be able. Just he put that behind him. He didn't even think about it. It didn't seem like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the dude's rock solid. He's mentally there. 22-0 last year. That's no fluke, and he's handling pressure. I mean, there's some weekends. That's kind of what I brought up a while ago about the whole lapper situation, not being in that 40, 50 second range. He had such a big gap. Track was wide enough. Track was long enough. He could kind of like play the, I guess you can say, long game. But I'm not taking away from his ride at all. I just think, in my opinion, that Tomac was probably relying on lappers to kind of start messing up, because there was a lot of ruts. It was really soft.
It was nasty.
So there, kind of what you saw with the whole Justin Hill and Freddie Noren.
Yeah.
Like something like that could have played a factor sooner if the track was shorter.
Sure.
If you're waiting, if any of those guys are sitting back waiting for something like that to happen to be able to then they're done.
I don't think those guys race like that.
Yeah,
I hope somebody gets in his way, kind of thing. You're already beat if that's the case.
That's what I mean. You're beat.
I mean, he did keep it within the 10-second range.
Yeah.
So I mean, anything can happen in 10 seconds.
Did he keep it in the 10-second range, or did Jet keep it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Point.
That's a good question.
The move Jet made to go from third to first in what, like 2 or 3 corners.
One straight
We
away.
passed both of them.
Yeah, that was
one straight away.
One straight away, and then
Yeah.
he zigzagged. Yeah, that's right. That I was like, oh, well, he's gone. And then I really thought that Eli was going to get right past Chase. If that had happened, maybe a story ends a little different. I don't think the gap would have gone in 10 seconds. I think it would have stayed around that 3 or 4 mark, and then see what Eli would have done with the last couple laps with him being more in tow. At that point, when he's 10 seconds back and the track was what it was, I'm sure he kind of went to just sail it into second mode. So maybe that would change a little bit. But I mean, when a guy goes from third to first and then checks out, I mean, it's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard to beat.
especially against last year's champion.
Yeah,
and one of the best of all time, and Eli.
Yeah,
and
that's
honestly, we got to give props to Chase. He rode great. He's still dealing with a little bit of a problem with the wrist or the hand, but he looked good. Like he was riding well, doing the quad in, seemed pretty comfortable. There's the suspension changes that were made that Michael Lindsay kind of brought up this weekend, and we won't get into that part too much, but it seems like Chase is coming around too and getting better. TJ, this championship's not over. It's starting to get away. I think let's see. So Jets in the lead, Cooper's 10 down, Sexton 13 down, Eli's 16 down, and then Kenny's 27 down. It starts dropping by a point after that. AP's crash kind of hurt him, but the points are getting that's a pretty big gap, 13, 16, but it's still less than one race. Something happens to the Jet. Maybe he doesn't get any points. They're right back in it. It's not over yet, but it's not looking great.
Yeah, it's I mean, I can say I did believe Jet will win this championship, but I didn't think he would be 13 poin's ahead already. That makes sense?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I thought it'd be a lot closer all the way to the end.
Mathis and the boys were talking about it on their review show where he's like, he's 13 ahead or 10 ahead of Cooper Webb with the mistakes he made and the bad races he had in the mud. Imagine if, perfect world, he doesn't have those mistakes. We don't have the muddy race. Maybe he wins again. Like it could be starting to get insurmountable.
Yeah.
And that might happen over the next couple rounds. It might. I hope it doesn't. I don't want to see that.
And you saw what he can do with a huge lead as he did the outdoors.
Yeah, manage.
There was no freak out. It was just
get the job done.
Yeah, just clicking his laps and winning.
Yeah.
This is the first race of the season where the one thing that he hadn't done was start 5th or 6th and come up to the lead. And now check that off the list. So
yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, because he was what, like 5th, 6th in the first corner?
I'd have to go look. He was he was a few spots back. He wasn't in third. He worked his way up.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that he hadn't done. So he's done that now. So buckle up.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
Garrett Rockley says, can you guys discuss Kenny's rhythm line that made Barsha look like a futures rider?
Oh, yeah. Kenny, especially in the heat race, Kenny would, I made a note that Kenny looks good and could win.
They were going through a rhythm section like they were whoops.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like that was a jump line that they were pounding through like a set of whoops. It was, that to me, I think the race itself, the main events on both of them basically were boring.
You said that, and I totally disagreed.
The heat races were awesome.
I thought it was great. I enjoyed the racing.
I struggled to stay awake.
Well, you hate Supercross. We literally just talked about. We made a joke about it last week.
Do not hate Supercross.
And then
I love Supercross.
Our top 5 tonight is top 5 Supercross races of all time. How many did you come with?
1.
Barely, because you hate Supercross.
I don't hate it.
The MotoXpod show is also presented by Yamaha Motor USA, which has a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ store is 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZs pay tribute to a half-century of championship-winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com. If you're thinking about a new bike, I highly recommend the YZ platforms. I've been on the 450F a few months now. You guys, if you know anything about me, just a average vet rider, no real talent. I thought the bike was going to be too much. Probably would be with the higher maps, but with the mapping options, was able to mellow it out. Really fun bike, a lot easy to control. And then if you are a more talented rider than me, like Jeremy sitting over here, you could probably use all that ability. So check out the Yamahas, YamahaMotorsports.com. Definitely go, I'd say get you a blue crew.
Heck yeah.
Or a white and purple crew. We like them. I'm about to sneeze, so I might have to pull away from. Say something.
Something.
Yeah, so like the guys in the last 7 years are that are in the top. Okay, wait, take us back. In the last, all right, so the top 10 essentially we've been talking about the same people for the last 7 probably plus years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess it's kind of hard to, for our Tomac fans, our Anderson fans, and Barsha fans, it's kind of like a hard pill to swallow with this new kid coming in and just dominating.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I really think that could probably be like some of our issues.
It's not only that I don't want one guy to be the dominant guy. I like the way the last few years have been where you're like, okay, there's at least 3 that legitimately have the same ability levels ish. But a part of it is that he's
new guy,
19, whatever he is, 18, 19. And you're like, F this dude. Like, I like Jet, but at the same time, I'm like, I want him to get pushed around a little bit. I want him to be like, oh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, but it's just
a little bit of that, but that's the one thing that I've noticed too that I didn't expect was, and a couple of shows this year we've talked about how this is the most experienced field that as fans we've ever really witnessed, because if you added up the years of experience that are on the track, that number's higher than what we've probably ever seen in the past. So the fact that Jet's still showing those guys that have that much experience up, I thought he was going to get roughed around a little bit more in Supercross. I mean, he had his incidents.
Might be a topic coming up in the forum check-in, but keep going.
Yeah, he had his incident with Anderson, but I mean, he's really he's making a statement for sure. It's not made yet, but it's in the process.
I want to remind everybody that Vital MX does have a fantasy league, and there is a MotoXpod show. Well, the fantasy game, there is a MotoXpod show league. The show winner, or the winner of the league, the MotoXpod show league this week was Freddie 912 on the Vital. So prize coming out. I don't think I announced the winner last week. It was Chris Kraus. He got a race tech certificate. Freddie's getting some X-Brand goggles. So a few cool prizes we're doing each week. If you're playing fantasy, sign up for the MotoXpod Show League. Also, don't forget our email is motoxpodshow@gmail.com. We want to get your comments, your thoughts, anything on the shows we do. We want to get you your input on the Prox highs and lows, the EVS picks for each race, the troll training top 5s, the Evans coolant emails. We really, really want to get you guys involved. I say that every week. There's a lot of people that send emails every week, but it's kind of the same people. I'm going to challenge you guys that are listening next week, Birmingham, send emails out in the next couple of days. Give me your top 5 or top 3 podiums for the 450 class for Birmingham. The top 5 next week. I'll have to wait till we get to it because I don't remember what next week. Oh, next week is going to be, this is for TJ, top 5 favorite cars of all time. TJ just perked up.
Oh, I like that.
Send those emails in, motoxpodshow@gmail.com. If you like the show, if there's something you think we should change about the show, just whatever. I want to hear it. motoxpodshow@gmail.com. I want to see an influx of emails for next week. I want the email segment, the Evans Coolant email segment, to be massive next Tuesday. I do already have Brock Tickle locked in, so we have one guest, a couple others I'm working on. But yeah, sign up, play the Vital MX Fantasy, get in the MotoXpod Show League. Let's see here. What do I want? Super Motocross announced the new venues. A couple of them I was aware. Well, I was kind of aware of all of them. I wasn't 100% sure, but going back to Carolina to the drag strip, what is that thing called? Something Max drag strip in Carolina.
Z-Max?
Z-Max drag strip in North Carolina, September 7th. Coming back to Texas, September 14th at Texas Motor Speedway. And then wrapping up the Super Motocross season back in Vegas, September 21st. It's not the end of Supercross season, but it is the end of Super Motocross season. I'm glad to have that back in Vegas. That could be a lot of fun.
Were y'all surprised that we didn't go to Austin?
Oh, Circuit of Americas?
Yeah.
That'd have been cool.
I had heard that they were trying to get a race there a while back, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I had already heard that it was going to Texas Motor Speedway, so I guess I'm not surprised because I heard about it.
It's really honestly about the same distance from us.
Yeah.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, Austin seems like it would be such a better place to have it because you got the college towns right there. It's Austin.
Austin's still somewhat, it's not as cool as it used to be, but it's still a pretty cool town.
It really is.
And I think it's cooler than Dallas-Fort Worth. So.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Austin, California.
Anything, Scotty, or let's go to you, Jeremy. Anything you're excited about these 2 new venues? Anything stand out?
Coming to Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes you happy?
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess since we're all in Texas, that makes sense.
Yeah, so the wife and I are already planning on trying to go
Yeah.
there and try to go to Vegas the week after and have some fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked on Vegas. Again, I didn't really I only got to experience the finals in Vegas a couple times.
Is it going to be at that new stadium?
No, it's at the Speedway.
A Speedway.
Yeah,
I don't even know where that is. I've never been there.
It's on the outskirts of
Oh,
town.
Ennis?
Huh?
It's like Ennis, isn't it?
No,
Isn't it the city?
In Vegas?
Oh, Vegas. I
Yeah,
thought
we're in Vegas.
about Dallas.
No, but yeah, I don't remember
And the other one's not
exactly
in
what it
Ennis.
is.
No.
No, that's the drag strip.
Yes.
What about you, TJ? Anything other? I mean, obviously Texas
Yeah.
makes sense, but do you think it's cool to going back to the ZMAX? Because I didn't think that was a very good facility. I didn't like it. The riders didn't really like the course.
Jumping over I forgot about that.
Yeah, the
That was my
wall.
thought that was my thought.
For media, which isn't that important as far as where they're going to pick a venue, but we couldn't see much. But
No, it's I think it was more of a surprise. Like I don't have any. I mean, it is they're races. Vegas is cool, like you said.
yeah,
And I just was so surprised they couldn't make it work down there towards Austin or something like that. Just seemed like just better for the time of year and for everything, weather and all that stuff.
Ed, was they saying something last year about the last time they had around in Charlotte was the lighting on the drag strip? Was that some of the main issues?
Yeah, the lighting at the speedways in general is not ideal.
Right.
It's not great. So yeah, there's some lighting issues. There's some shadows.
Makes no sense because they make portable light towers. You know what I mean? Like Badlands can light up
But
their
even when
track.
when Lakewood did that,
I mean, have you seen them try to purchase nets? So
when Lakewood did the light, it's still like it wasn't great. It's not to be able to see the ruts and the track conditions at the speed those guys are going, and it needs to be really good lighting.
Yeah.
The speedways aren't perfect, but it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun.
You think they'll ever have a super motocross round at like an actual dirt bike track?
Like
Maybe
a
make it-
motocross track?
Yeah, like a
like
real
a Red Bud with.
or something like that, and maybe add like a soupy section.
I think
to
it has to have a stadium.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they want the stadium vibes and
Gotcha.
the city for the
It's a hybrid.
the show is.
Gotcha. That
I
makes,
think the
that makes
super
sense.
part of super motocross is more, probably a little bit higher. Yeah.
Because if that was the case, then Troy was SMX
Yeah,
for
that's right.
forever.
Troy, Ohio, for sure.
Yeah.
I bet you if you look at the map across the United States, I bet the truck drivers are pretty excited about that. Instead of going way up here and come way back down
Going
here.
up north,
Oh, does it go straight across?
Pretty much.
Carolina, Texas, Vegas.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
boom,
that's
boom,
not
boom.
bad.
It's probably the same distance
20
from
to 45, and
Texas to Vegas is probably a lot further than getting to from Charlotte. But
Yes. Okay, a couple more things before we get to Kyle Peters. Had some exciting moments at Daytona. Hayden Deegan comes off the bike.
that kid's fast.
Yeah. Why am I
Jeez
blanking
Louise.
GT?
a real fast in fourth place.
The Supercross Futures kid. I'm totally blanking on our guy, GT15.
Oh, Gavin Towers.
Gavin Towers. Thank you. Gavin gets thrown off the bike.
Yeah.
We
violent.
had Hunter Lawrence injures a shoulder. Dino clavicle, I think it was.
I didn't see either one of those.
I didn't
wrecks.
see those either, but the track bit some guys.
And guys like Gavin and
Got lucky. Hayden
Deegan,
got lucky.
the landing on the downside. Ah,
That's the best case.
So
best
lucky.
case.
So
God.
lucky.
And then did you see Gavin's bike go over him? And as it flipped over him, the back wheel, the back fender hit and the back wheel, and it like went over him like it didn't hit him, but his legs were in between. His body was in between the back. I was like, oh, he got so
Yeah,
lucky.
he got really lucky. Like that track, as Scotty said, we saw some photos. Very gnarly. Could have ended up with a lot of other injuries. It was a man's supercross track. Is barely supercross. Like it was supercrossy, but the dirt was not.
I don't know
the
how they
obstacles
ride
were
on that.
supercrossy.
I'm so glad I didn't actually
I couldn't have made a
job,
lap. There's no way I'd
Yeah,
make a lap.
no. I
because
would've-
we were planning on going to go race that.
the amateur one.
Yeah, amateur day. And I'm
Yeah.
so
Oh, I saw
glad
like
that didn't work.
I saw a guy in the 40+ class. A couple of them got landed on and all kinds of
It was
stuff.
bad.
And they
Yeah.
rained a bunch, so yeah,
Yeah.
pretty crappy. Post race stuff. You guys saw all the stuff with the fans on the track.
I didn't see
race
it till
isn't even
afterwards.
over.
Yeah.
I mean, unreal. What, Jeremy? What's
Dude.
wrong with people? First of all, people are idiots,
Yeah.
and really, I've heard that they're not going to allow people on the tarmac next year or what? I don't know, whatever. The
That'd be, honestly, I would just to prove a point. Hey, you just
that kind of
your
sucks. It
experience.
takes. That's part of what makes Daytona cool, and now it's ruined because people are stupid.
And what do you think about ripping the goggles off?
Yeah, that bothered me more than the people rushing the track.
I haven't heard Jet respond. The guy that got them, I've seen his posts and some friends of his and some like Facebook groups I'm in and some other messages. And I think Daniel Blair actually asked for the guy's info and somebody got to him. The guy is, from everything I've read, is claiming, he said, "Can I have your goggles?" And you see Jet bob his head,
okay.
and Jet said yes. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but it's a possibility that actually happened. But then did Jet actually hear what he said with the freaking burnout going?
He didn't do it very gingerly.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't.
was a rip.
Again,
Yeah.
it didn't look good. I don't like it.
I definitely think rushing the track during the race was worse.
So dangerous. People. I mean, like, what goes through your
I thought
mind?
it was funny.
Where you're like, yeah, like 99% of the people knew the race wasn't over.
How many times have we been to Vegas and not Vegas, to Daytona? I don't ever remember people rushing the track like that.
I've only been once last year.
I've been
and I think
so
it's a
many
relatively new thing.
I've been so many times, and I know that after the race, people go down to the podium, but I don't remember them ever like, rushing the track.
Oh, can you clarify a rumor?
I don't know. I can try, or I can lie.
Adam Cincerello.
Yeah.
There's been some rumors
he
going around
done?
about retiring. Can you say?
I didn't. He was on Pulp last night, which I haven't listened to all that yet.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't know what the outcome was, but I think it's about 99% yes, he's done after this year.
Wow.
That's why he wanted to race Daytona,
Due
to have
burnout.
one chance to do it on a 450. I think
Poor guy.
I don't think he's getting any better, and he's kind of been hinting at it a while. Like, man, things aren't really where they need to be, and he's not stoked.
What sucks is, man, he could be the next, the guy that lasts for another 6-7 years. Like
No.
No.
Oh.
Barring bearing
Yeah.
injury.
Yeah,
Like he was supposed to be that guy that fills in Tomac.
Yeah,
after Tomac left.
Sad.
He could be one of the biggest. I don't want to use the word disappointments. That's not correct, but career didn't go as projected.
Right.
Like, you'd have to really kind of go
Think bigger than Alessi?
very close. I think AC's the winningest amateur of all time, if I'm not mistaken.
Jet?
No.
No, Jet
no,
barely
no,
did
he's
any
won more
amateur.
like Loretta's titles.
No, Jet Reynolds.
I think him and AC are tied with 10 or 11.
I thought
Yeah.
Jet Reynolds, because he still raced afterward. I think Jet Reynolds would be way worse as far as what he coulda, shoulda been to where, like, he didn't even get
I don't know how you would, not justify, but how you would
quantify
that. But I feel like AC had more hype than Jet, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
But there is definitely top three.
But he has-
Alessi, him, and Jet Reynolds would be, very
I'm going to sound really dumb, but doesn't he have a title in the 250?
AC
Yeah.
outdoor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's other guys who don't.
I guess I'm talking premier title or
Premier
career,
side.
but yeah, if you look at overall, where Reynolds hasn't even finished a race.
God, poor kid.
Yeah, and then Alessi didn't win any titles, so I guess you'd have to. It might be an interesting story to write on Vital.
More work for you.
Yeah,
Well, no, we were talking about the
Biggest
fans
letdowns.
and stuff though. Like, did we ever find out? Did the dude that showed his butt? Did he get arrested?
yeah, I have no idea. I don't know why that's what you're interested in.
And I also thought it was funny that that one chick was flailing across the track, and then Anderson almost sent her to the hospital. And he's revving his bike and stuff. That whole situation was pure chaos.
You think we were the curse of the cowboy this past week?
AP? Yeah. No, we were not the curse of AP. How dare you put that on this show?
Well, you're friends with Steve, so.
That's Steve Mathis is one thing. This show is another. We are not the curse.
He won. the
Eli
weekend
actually,
after us.
no, Cooper Webb gave us credit for his win in Arlington for having Peanut, his mechanic, on. So I'm going to say definitely not. Our first guest of the night's on the line. He's going to be brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Eddie Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Don't forget, they have complete seats for the Talari and Super 73 and covers for the Sur-Ron Segway. They strive to ship orders within 36 hours, so visit gutsracing.com and order today. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us, he's leading the points race in the Arena Cross Series, Phoenix Racing Honda's Kyle Peters. What's up, KP?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's been a bit since we've talked to you. Very, very exciting Arena Cross series. Probably one of the most challenging you've had so far.
Yeah, it's definitely probably been the one that has been held the most adversity in it as well. So it's been a tough one.
Yeah, you're I believe 4-time champ. If you wrap this thing up this year, which it's gonna be tough, it's tight with you and Brees, but if you do, you'll tie Budman for 5. Does that matter to you? Like the Budman record?
The goal is to win.
Yeah.
I would love to tie Budman, but right now it's tight and it's not easy. So you really got to focus on the race in front of you and the whole five-time whatever thing that has to be pushed aside and focus on the race.
That makes
one
sense.
race at a time.
Yeah. I think that's the proper way to do it, is focus one at a time. That's smart of you. Now you've been, I don't know if this is out too much, but like you've been dealing with a little bit of a thumb issue. Is that correct? What can you tell us?
Yeah, this past weekend in Daytona, put myself in a bad position. Went into the semi, got a little help off the track and into the wall, and just pretty serious thumb injury. Still waiting on some results on what exactly it is, but it's racing. So
yeah, like
keep going.
Nobody's 100% healthy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, KP, when you have a race like this on the schedule where it lines up with the SX schedule and you're going to have some extra guys join to make some extra cash, when you're having a title championship fight like this on your hands, does that factor into your mental preparation for the week upcoming? And do you think about like, okay, well, these guys are going to be there. Where do they lie in with the championship?
When that sort of stuff happens, other guys come in. It can be a really good thing or kind of a bad thing, points wise. Mm-hmm. If you have a good weekend or a great weekend, they can get in between you, and it's one of those things where I mentally prepare, or kind of physically prepare every race the exact same, no matter who's showing up, who's going to be there. Just my main goal is to go there and do my job. But yeah, with those guys coming in, it didn't quite work out in my favor. I had a really rough night, but thankfully Brees wasn't able to go 1-1, and he had a bit of a tough night as well. So it was we kept the points somewhat okay.
Yeah, it's almost like if this was a movie, this could be a scripted movie, the way that race went, because it could have been easily really bad for either one of you, probably more so yourself, which I want to get into the details of that in a minute, but it was a very exciting Arena Cross race.
Yes, it was an exciting one for the fans, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Not so much for you.
Yeah, so
no, definitely not.
So racing a guy like Brees, have you had many battles with him in the last couple of years?
So this is the first time I've really raced him. He was always the West Coast guy. I was always the East Coast guy.
I gotcha. So you're kind of just learning his tendencies and what you can, what you could, I guess, take it like advantage on your side on how to race him.
For sure. Every weekend you kind of learn and kind of watch back the races and see where he's good at, where he maybe isn't so good. And yeah, just learning how to go about that, for sure. It's been taking a while, but we're getting there.
So, like, you have guys like him coming in that you've never raced before, and obviously the series from the outside, I mean, we're not there week in, week out watching it, is growing. Are you noticing that? Do you see more fans? Is the way that they're promoting it where y'all aren't racing the same day the amateurs and stuff like that? Like, can you give us your thoughts on that whole setup?
I think the Friday night's been really good just because we're not competing with Supercross. It gives another night for us fans to go and watch, have something to watch, I guess. As far as fans showing up to the races, there's been some really good ones. Other ones where we've been really going places where the weather hasn't been cooperating. It's been super cold, snowing, and people sometimes just don't really want to go out in that, and I can't say I blame them. Mm-hmm. So fans at the track haven't been the best. But those guys are doing a lot of really good things. And each year it's just going to continue to get better and better. And hopefully, the series keeps growing and more teams come in and get this thing back to where it was.
What do you think helps the series more with getting fans there? The promotion and the racing from the AMA side, or Matt Burkeen's YouTube videos?
Matt Burkeen, for sure.
Yeah, those things are insane.
I could watch those things all day long, every day. The commentating,
yeah.
Matt crushes it. He's a local kid for me. We grew up together, and that dude is a legend.
He's awesome. I love him. All right, let's do a recap of your Daytona real quick for those that haven't got to watch the race. Heat race, you're battling with Marshall Welton. Welton makes a mistake. You make a mistake, hit a tough block, end up in the LCQ. I don't think you were super happy with Marshall after that. LCQ, 4-time champion, almost literally like 2 turns away, doesn't make it in. The leader goes down. The guy in second makes a mistake. You get by them both. Again, could not script that any better. Just that part of your night, like I can't imagine where your mindset is, your heart rate's at. Like you almost didn't make the main event.
Yeah, from the heat race, it was the track was super gnarly. How sandy it was very difficult to pass, and I was just not able to make it happen. Looking back, I could have done a lot of things better and a lot of things differently, which try to learn from that. Semi was sitting in an okay position with right off the bat, and then got a little help off the track into the wall.
Yes.
And man, I'd honestly it was such a struggle to ride with my hand. I had no grip strength. Every bump was torture, and people that didn't see the track was so brutal. And yeah, the LCQ, I was third place, nothing I could do. Trying my best, just with what I could with my hand. And I was like, oh boy, like this is not good. And by the grace of God, the leader went down, and thankfully I wasn't just following second place, and went around the outside of both of them into the last corner and across the finish line. And I was just thanking the Lord,
I bet
there was there was no way that if it wasn't for him that I would have made it, and then the points would have been done. So thankfully we were very blessed to get into the mains.
Yeah, you mentioned the track conditions again. For those who haven't watched, if you watched the Daytona Supercross, it was just a smaller version of that. Nasty sand, ruddy, very, very difficult for you guys to make up time and of course, I want to kind of get into the 250 versus 450 thing in a second, but yeah, the track conditions not normal at all for any kind of arena cross. Again, yeah, just a very big struggle to even find a place to make up time. You're clearly have more talent than some of those guys, but it was impossible to make a lap without a mistake.
Yeah, it was very difficult. I kind of knew coming into Daytona, like I was curious to what the dirt was going to be. I was like, it could possibly be a little bit sandy. And when I showed up, and I was like, oh no, like this is the low mole of Daytona.
That's a good description. Yes.
And definitely not what any of us really trained for. As far as arena cross goes, I think we've had a few sand sections so far this year, but yeah, that was, definitely wasn't expecting that. Didn't plan for that at all. So it was, one of those things where I think it caught most of us off guard. Mm-hmm. And then the passing was, it was very difficult. So we have 2 more rounds of it. Friday and Saturday night of this weekend. I think the dirt's going to be the same. Track might be a little bit different, but it's going to be another 2 difficult nights.
So going back to what I just asked you, you've been on 250 most of the year, and I think in arena cross generally that's not much of a disadvantage. You've tried the 450 a couple times, hasn't gone, probably as you'd like. So I feel like you're more comfortable on 250, but with the track conditions from this past weekend, will you make the switch coming up this weekend?
Yeah, the 450 thing has been funny. We have been at elevation for I feel like the majority of our races, and it's just hard to compete with that power like at elevation and in the sand. So definitely things that we've been discussing with the team. I don't think a decision has been made yet on exactly what we're going to do, because I am more comfortable on the 250 for sure. I've been riding the thing for X amount of years. Last time I rode a 450 before hopping on it for the one arena cross that I did, it's been since 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't have much time on one. Just haven't trained for it, and everything. So yeah, it's been difficult for sure, having to race one. But it's one of those things where you accept it, that I've had to deal with that, and try to make the best of it. Try to go out and do the best that I can on my 250. The one race I did try to race my 450, I ended up getting sick, and I believe I had COVID, which led into the following weekend, and then it was just all kind of downhill spiral the next couple of weeks. So that, I mean, like I said earlier, just dealt with a lot of adversity this year, but we're still in it. We're still fighting, and it's not over till it's over.
Absolutely.
So with them not, worrying about displacement in y'all's class, have y'all ever built a 290 or a 310 just to see if that would give you the bottom you need against the 450s, but still ride like a 250?
So really, this is the first year that, the 450 has really been kind of there. Like the majority of us bitter men and I and everyone in the past number of years, we've all just raced the 250, It never really even was a thought of hey, should we try the 450? But yeah, he rides the thing very well. And yeah, for as far as our team aspect, we haven't tried a big bore yet. It's definitely something to think about for the following years. If they continue to make it 250, 450, where you can run whatever you want. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an option, hopefully. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Just hit up the back part of the pack in the 250 LCQ at Supercross. Those guys know exactly how to build big bore 250.
Yeah. Kyle Peters tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Visit gutsracing.com. Let Andy Gregg know you're listening to the MotoXpod show. Scotty or Jeremy, either one of you?
Yes. Are you going? Kyle, what does it look like with the younger guys coming up? Do people kind of treat you as their hero? Is the kids that are coming up doing arena cross, do they focus on that, or is there any kind of correlation between that and Supercross for them? And how has it been with the amateurs?
Oh man, it's been really cool. We don't get to see too much of the amateurs.
Yes, it's switched
because we'll race Friday night and then they're on Saturday, which I haven't been racing on Saturday, just focusing on the Friday night stuff. But we do have the 50 kids and a few guys come up, and it's so cool to hang out with them. Most of them don't know much about the past and me running Supercross or whatever, and yeah, they're just kids and having fun and riding their dirt bikes. So it's really cool to talk with all of them. And yeah, even with the younger kids, Crockett Myers and those guys coming up into the pro class, I've watched Crockett grow up and seen him riding from 50s and on, and it's cool to see him do really well, especially last weekend. He crushed it, and yeah, it's cool to see the sport evolve. The younger guys coming up that are super talented and can really show off their skills. So yeah, I guess I'm getting to be one of the older guys, and
Kyle Peters, vet.
Yeah. So yeah. Think about it, Kyle. There's kids coming up now that don't remember like Ryan Villapoto racing.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Budman.
Yeah.
it's insane to me, honestly. I've talked to a few of the younger kids at Club MX and stuff, and they'll be like, "Wait, what happened back then?" And I'm like, "It was like last year. Like, what do you mean?"
Yeah, and Weege had a good point. I heard him talking about the Stasic generation. It was, I think he was doing like a promo for him, and it's like you're already seeing kids come that are like making it B class, A class Loretta's that started on Stasics. Like that generation is coming. Like
That's
it's
going to be a thing. The
Yeah.
Stasic generation.
yeah, it's crazy. It's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about getting older, what are you having to do now as you're getting older to get yourself back into that race shape form?
That's a tough question. With the injury that I had a couple of years ago, I'm kind of limited on how much volume I can do, especially with riding. I can't really do the volume that I used to do with my neck. It gets angry at me and doesn't like me for a little while. So mainly like more off the bike stuff, whether that be in the gym, on the bicycle. It's just one of those things where I feel like I have to, especially do more of a warm up the older I get, to kind of get the body moving and blood flowing a little bit, to where when I was younger, it was kind of one of those things that I could wake up, not eat breakfast, and go out there and hold the thing wide open and never get tired.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's just getting older, my past injury, or what exactly, but definitely more of a warm up, more off the bike stuff, and only kind of able to ride.
I'm gonna say
maybe 3 days a week.
I'm gonna say most of it's the age thing, dude. It just starts hitting you fast, and it comes faster and faster and faster. KP, but you mentioned.
Oh man, don't tell me that.
Yeah, it sucks. You mentioned the neck injury, and one of our Vital MX forum members, 9Bro9, wanted me to ask about the road to recovery for your neck injury. How has that been? I mean, has it changed how you ride, how you think about taking certain risks, and how do you correlate that to still going after a championship? Because, I mean, something like that could definitely change your outlook mentally.
Oh, definitely. 100% has changed how I've had to ride, my training throughout the week, on and off the bike. It's changed definitely my outlook at races. And I also think getting older, like you're like, that risk kind of just isn't quite there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's certain things, whether it be a rhythm or whoops or whatever, that you just kind of have to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just, all right, well, we got to do it. So let's go. But no, like, as far as the risk thing is involved, like you try to be as calculated as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where, especially starting on the back row from the inverted start, you have to take some risks to be able to pass people quickly and kind of get back to the front. Where if you're too conservative, you're stuck behind people for too long, and the top guys get away from you. So,
yeah.
That's a tough question, but yeah, you definitely have to still take more risks than you probably want to.
Yeah. So it basically does affect you, but you have to find a way to put it aside to be the best at your sport. Yeah. It's
absolutely.
Yeah. It makes sense. It's not easy, but even if you hadn't had the injury, being a champion isn't easy anyway. So you got to figure it out.
Yep.
So we have a listener question in our chat that says I'm going to destroy this person's name. I apologize. Sepulveda 799 asks, are the whoops bigger in AX or SX? They look huge in arena cross.
There's definitely been a couple races this year where I'm like, oh wow, like what were you guys thinking?
Yeah.
You think it has to do with not being any kind of run at them? Like would those whoops be small in Supercross because you would get like an extra 10 foot of run at them?
They wouldn't be height-wise, no. They're still really big height-wise. The extra run in Supercross definitely does help to be able to carry momentum into them and continue across them. That's been the tough thing this year with being at elevation and then making the whoops big is on a 250. Like it's so hard to get the thing up and going out of the corner to carry enough speed to continue to skim at the end. Where the 450, you know, like it's a lot easier to get up to speed, but it also can pick up speed to the whoops. Where the 250, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, depending on the race, they've definitely been bigger than some Supercrosses that I've been to, but I also was at 2016 and A2. Raced that, and those things still to this day scare me.
they haunt your nightmares.
Yes, I'm still just like, no more. I don't want to go through those no more.
And another question from Captain PD wants to know if you ever train with Dylan Ferrandis.
So
teammates.
I haven't. I really want to go down to Florida and just be down there at 83 with those guys. Dylan's based in Florida.
Yep.
I'm based up here in North Carolina. So I do most of my training at Club MX with all the club guys. JB every now and again will show up and help us out. So it's awesome to have those guys up here to train with, and we've got a solid group.
Yeah, the club guys is pretty cool. I got to spend a few days out there, and you were there that day, and yeah, pretty cool place. Really, a lot of great riders. I mean, there's not much of a better day of riding when having JB and Phil Nicoletti on the track at the same time. I mean, like the nicest guy in the world and the grumpiest guy in the world. Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A couple more questions for you. Are you familiar with a Mr. Lewis Phillips?
I believe so. The name sounds super familiar.
He works for Vital. Yeah, he's one of the best journalists in the business, KP. You got to get to know Lewis a little bit, but he works for us. He works with me.
I'm sure.
An Englishman.
I'm sure if I've seen him, see his face, I'm sure I'd know him.
Well, Lewis is a great guy.
He's British, so
yes, we talked earlier,
Okay, yeah.
and he asked me to bring this up. You know, I'm sure at some point you had dreams of being a Supercross champion, a Supercross winner, and you transitioned into the Arena Cross world and an Arena Cross championship. How does that stack up with maybe what your goals were in the early days of your career? And, you know, I want to know, do you feel like your career is as successful as you hoped it would be?
That's a tough question for sure. Yeah, exactly like you said, growing up, the goal was to be successful in Supercross, and up until I started racing Arena Cross, I'd never even thought of going out and doing Arena Cross. So, yeah, I mean, I feel very blessed, very accomplished in the Arena Cross world. I feel like I've done a lot. I still feel like there's a lot left to give, and possibly like Supercross. You know, I always wanted to do better. Always wanted to be a champion.
Sure.
Things just didn't quite work out that way. Not saying that it never could. Could always potentially go back. I mean, Anstey's getting her done I think he's a year older than me at 31. So my man's crushing it. And yeah. But as far as being, I guess, content with my career, I feel like I've had a good career, but always striving to be better. Always looking at what I can do better and learn. And yeah, I still feel like I've got a lot of fight left. So looking forward to keeping the JB dream alive and going into my 30s. So
yeah, and who knows? There might be a Daytona Supercross win in your future.
Hey, you know, I would definitely not complain about that.
Right. Two more for you, KP, and we'll let you go.
KP, we've talked about the career and the battling for the championship and the records on the line. Does it mean more that it's come down to this tight wire championship? Do you kind of like that for the storyline, that you like that more, that it came down to it's going to come down to the final round?
I mean, yeah, for sure. This one has been the toughest, mentally, physically. I've dealt with the most adversity this one for sure. So if I'm able to get it done, I think it'll mean a lot. Win or lose, I'm going to go out and give it everything I've got, and the cards fall where they do. But yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen.
Yeah, the arena cross gods weren't just going to hand you the record, right?
Dude, this, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
This could be like one of those, last turn in the main event in Vegas all over again. Like was it Jacob Hayes, Kyle Regal?
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and
I forgot about that.
I don't feel like I like Ryan Brees. I've known Ryan a long time, but he'll be aggressive. And KP, you might have to be willing to be aggressive back. It's going to be good. These last 3 races are going to be fun to watch.
For sure. We both want to win.
Yeah.
And you do what you got to do at some point.
Absolutely. Let's close this thing out with scrolling through your Instagram. Another big life-changing event. Looks like February. I think you proposed. So getting married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Blessed to be in this position and have my fiance with me. So let's just getting the adventure started.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I think it's really cool to see your story going back the last few years, and the arena cross success is, to me, you have had a very, very successful career. Maybe you haven't won a Supercross main event. You haven't won a Supercross championship. You are racing at some of the highest levels of our entire sport, and you're being successful. Tons of us would dream to have a career and ability like that. So, yeah, enjoy it. Be proud, man. It's killer, dude. And you're a good guy, and appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you guys. The goal, I guess, always was to be able to make a living riding a dirt bike, and
there it is.
That's the best job in the world for me. Like, there's obviously injuries involved with it and whatnot, but I wouldn't change it. I love being able to wake up and train and grind and do all those things to go out on the weekend and race my dirt bike. So I'm super blessed. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm pumped to be on. Let me know when I can be on again.
Yeah.
I'll be here. And thank you guys.
Well, yeah, man, go out and win this championship. We'll get you on. But if you finish second, I guess we're going to have to get Brees, man.
Understandable.
No pressure.
Yeah. No. All right, KP. Good luck, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
See ya. Kyle Peters brought to you tonight by Guts Racing. Man, he's fun to talk to. It's been a little bit. It's
interesting, like when you ask them, did your career feel fulfilled because of
that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is because of obviously the goal ultimately was to win a Supercross race or a Supercross championship, but he's made a living doing this. That's really 1%ers of our sport. You're 1 out of 4 that's even attempted to do a Supercross. And I've never even thought about it, and just for him to be able to have a career as long as he's had in the sport and make a living doing it, that's a 1%ers thing. So it's funny that our sport makes them feel kind of, man, I didn't really do what I wanted to do. But out of everybody that's ever owned or thrown a leg over a dirt bike, he's less than 1% of the people that have made a career out of it. Yeah, there's those guys, there's those haters, TJ, of the guys that are making night shows, TJ,
that make night shows, but not you specifically, but people we know. that make night shows but don't make main events or whatever. I'm
not a hater on those guys.
I would love to be. I would love to be one of those guys. Yeah. I'd love to be a guy that never made. I'd love to be a guy that made a main event, but I'd love to have the ability to make a night show, make a few bucks, pay some bills, doing that at that level. That would be awesome. So all those guys, yeah. And KP's a legend, man. Like guys like me, I've gotten over time where I'm okay on a dirt bike, but it's it's always been my favorite thing to do, and to it's crazy that the thing that you love the most and you kind of suck at in the grand scale of things, it's pretty disheartening. So those guys really shouldn't feel bad on themselves. Absolutely not. Because
I got a funny story real quick.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about arena cross, and you think it's kind of a joke, I guess you could say. Some people hate going to arena cross. Oh yeah, but some people just frown upon arena cross.
It's not as cool or as prestigious. Right. So yes, as Supercross.
So I think it's either end of 2010 or end of 2011. I was just gonna go do about 3 rounds.
How's that phone, TJ?
I'm looking up some information here.
Go ahead.
for the show.
You got to get used to him
Can't believe
interrupting
you rude-
your
you
thoughts
just
because it's
cut
going to
in front
happen.
of him.
But when you interrupt his thoughts, he like goes.
That is true.
Yeah,
All
he
right. I'm
spazzes
sorry.
out.
It
what
is
a
his
dick.
show. So.
It's my show. I'm the host.
God. No. All right. So I made the
not
trip
everybody.
up.
The
Me and Dad,
man.
some friends made some
The
trips
man,
up to.
right?
Yep.
Like
Yeah, he's the man.
the man.
the man.
He's the man.
Yeah. So me and my dad and a couple buddies made a trip up to Kansas. I had no idea, Tyler Bowers existed.
Oh, wow.
All right, so
You learned real
all right, so
quick.
check this. Yeah, I'm about to tell you. All right, so I'm in my in a heater lap, and I just see a green bike in front of me going through the whoops, just kind of like moving over, and I just run it in pretty hot. I'm going for a fast lap. I learned really quick that next corner, whenever I'm flying through, landing on the start straight, and I'm get off the track. I'm like, who was that? Because I feel like I'm a pretty bigger dude compared to most racers, and
Yeah.
I just got railroaded. and they're like, oh, is that guy over there? My dad pointed out. I was like, oh, he got some Monster Energy. He's number 1. He's about 6'3". I was like,
I don't think Tyler's that big. I think people think he's that big.
have you stood next to him?
Yeah, a few times. I don't like. I mean, for a supercross rider, he's big, but maybe he's. I don't know.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
But anyway, I interrupted again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
anyways, I just felt
So
that, a
rude.
240-pound motorcycle with a 190, 200-pound
Yeah.
dude just clean me out. And
That
I'm
knows
flying.
how to use the weight of the bike.
Yeah.
I learned
awesome.
real quick that I was like, okay, well, my radiator's smashed, my header pipe's gone.
Yeah.
And looks like we're watching tonight.
Wow.
If he decides that he's going to hit you, it's not going to be a 80%, 90%. It's going to be everything that he can hit you with.
Yeah, and he walks up to me and goes, man, you took that like a champ. I'm like, yeah, I'm just want to rip your head off
Respect,
right now.
right?
All right, let's get into the X Brand forum check-in. X Brand is your choice of clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, the 2023 National Hare and Hound XC1 champion Dalton Shurry, 2023 AMA National Enduro champion Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as motocross, supercross, arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and many more. Visit XBrand, EKSbrand.com, or go to your local dealership and ask for X Brand, distributed through WPS. The X Brand forum check-in this week is from, had it ready to go. Somebody named, this is Wheels. Let's see here. The title is, Will 1, 2, and 3 get aggressive with Jet? So I'm assuming he means Eli, Chase, and Cooper get aggressive with Chase. I want to see a breakdown of those on Vital, who would love to see Webb, Tomac race backwards, ride a wide track, and make contact to try and hold position versus those who absolutely rag on Freeze for doing the exact same thing. Change the names, and you're a bunch of hypocrites. Okay, so basically the question is, will those guys get rough with Jet? And my thought is no. I think once you're at that level in the 450 class, you're a bit of a vet of the series, mature. You don't really ride that way unless they give it to you first. If Jet came in and was rough with them, then they'd give it back. But I think they're more respectful, Scotty.
Yeah.
I don't see them going, oh, well, he's a little bit faster than us, so we're gonna be rough on him to try to slow him down. I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of just racecraft more than anything, but he's really makes it hard for you to do that. Like, you got to think, so, Jet kind of started putting the pressure on Eli. Eli then closed the gap to Chase this past weekend. And you could tell Eli was trying to set up a move. And the next thing you know, Jet past both of them is gone. So, like, Eli never really had to even chance to ride defensive or whatever.
Aggressive or,
yeah, it's just like that. You got to think that was Eli was like, oh, what just happened? Like, that was not what he thought was going to happen.
But do you think Eli would have been aggressive, like rough? If
what are we calling rough? Like
throwing some elbows and block that.
I think. You don't think so,
TJ?
No, I mean, look at how the Ryans raced for years. You know what I mean? When you're at that level and you're racing, unless somebody's getting aggressive with you, you're not going to do it. I don't think any of them want to start it.
No.
Even Anderson, who has a history of like retaliation when somebody does something to him, he very seldom starts it. And I think when you're on that level, I mean, unless you're a Barsha, you don't start that.
But those top three, Jeremy, I don't think they get aggressive. Unless Jet was the slam, if Jet block pass or T-boned Eli, then I think Eli gets it back. But other than that, I think they They try to race clean because they want to race clean themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Cooper over the last few years, when it came down to about the last, 4 rounds, that's kind of when you started seeing him running in a little bit, playing a little more mind games. If you look back at Salt Lake, whenever he was back on KTM and I believe Tomac was still on the Cowie, he was not afraid to throw it in on the inside. Just trying to either force the issue or, just pressure him that type of way. So I really think that Webb would be the one.
But see, I still don't think he would unless there was an issue.
Well, he's already what was that? What was the round before? It was Detroit, I think, where he kind of made a jet go off the track and held his. I mean,
I guess I guess in my mind, I'm thinking going more towards almost dirty riding.
Oh,
Slide your front wheel off.
Yeah.
I don't see that now. Yeah, maybe riding a little defensively.
Yeah, that was my thought. It's like the line between pulling over and letting somebody just go around you, and then riding aggressive. It's very small.
It's a fine line. I just don't see them being like teeing them up.
Yeah, I don't see that. Absolutely not.
That's kind of where my mind. Maybe that's not exactly what.
Like you said, unless provoked, then no.
Yeah, I just see him more running him high, get him close to that tough block.
Sure. Yeah. That I absolutely.
No Bogle ghost ride in.
No.
What is funny is that on record, the person that Jed has rode the hardest is his brother. Like he's the only one that's really he's taken out. Yeah,
that's true. All right, cool. That's the X Brand forum. Check in X Brand goggles. Visit your local dealership. Ask for X Brand goggles through WPS. Let's get into the Barnett clutch performance of the week. What's up? Just have an audio issue again?
Yeah, it's starting to lag up.
Okay, redo the feed, and we are working on some fixes. I had Travis Marks and Kellen Brower from Racer X today helping me with some things. We're working on some things. We're trying to figure out what's causing this. Hopefully, I'm gonna spend some time tomorrow.
We had an hour-long feed that time, and
I did 3 hours the other day, just a test feed where it ran, and I ran all the software stuff where you're changing the graphics. It never happened at all. So I don't know. We don't know what it is exactly. Anyway, restart the feed. It is what it is.
Yeah, come back.
Barnett, your clutches. Kids have 75 years of experience.